Good evening. Welcome to the Rosehill Show. I'm your host, Apostle David Coulthrust. We're going to be having an exciting show tonight with our finale. We have had a number of shows and getting a lot of things right and just making sure that we bring you a high quality show. It has been an amazing learning experience. Just trying to get all this right, tweaking this, tweaking that, right down to the nice cue cards that I have here. These came, I think last week. So just to help me keep on track, as you get a bit older, there's so many things in your head. Sometimes you mix stuff up, and then all my crew backstage are pulling out their hair trying to get me in order. So I have these wonderful thing called Q. Oh, I'm supposed to be looking here. I'm sorry. Cue cards. They're amazing things. I'm sorry. Anyhow, so welcome once again to I was looking in the wrong camera there. Welcome to the Rosehill Show. As I said, we're going to be having our finale tonight, and I want to thank all of those of you who have tuned in, who have listened, who have participated, all the guests who came over the last few weeks to be a part of this amazing initiative, this startup. In the next season, we're going to be doing even more exciting things. So stay tuned for that, because we're going to be coming back on the 15th of November. The 15th of November, I think that's the second Wednesday in November, but the 15th of November, we're going to be coming right back at you with an even more exciting show, very relevant for this for the season. We're going to be coming on to Christmas and those type of things. Fa la 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 la, deck the halls with boughs of fall. Right. Anyhow, yes. So we're going to be coming on and doing a lot of stuff. That's going to be close to independence. So we're going to be focusing a bit on that, talking a bit about Christmas, etc. Your New Year's and your resolutions, all of those things we're going to be dealing with when we come right back after this break of the season. But one thing I want to encourage you to is to stay with us tonight. We have an exciting guest. That's Sandra Husbands, management consultant. She was in the broadcasting field, the marketing field, the sales field. She's a leader, amazing woman, and she is a politician. And she's a wife as well. Good night, Wayne, if you're watching. Amazing man. So we're going to get to know a bit about Sandra Husbands and why she chose politics, and she's running a hard race, trying to get in there to represent Barbados in Parliament. A very capable person. She's already been doing a lot of work on the ground, but we'll be talking a lot about that when we come right back after this break. And then we will obviously be having our 5 minutes of inspiration. We can't forget that. I have some things to talk to you about. So hey, I will see you in a couple of minutes after the break for an exciting show here at the finale of the first season of the Rosehill Show right here in Barbados. See you soon. Okay, so we are right back here at the Rosehill Show. Once again, thanks for joining us. Share this on your Facebook page. Go share this with your friends. Go to our Rosehill page. Just click like and share it all around the place. Go to the history of the shows, and you can go through that and see all of the interviews there. And you'll see all of our technical challenges over the time that we have been here. But in this time of what we call our time, it's time to inspire. segment, because after this we'll be having our guests on. I want to really, thank those who caught this vision, labored. Back there somewhere, there's Kai Lash. Kai, how are you doing? Where's Kai? Kai is back here somewhere. Kai, how are you doing? Come on stage, sir. Let's let the people see. You see, he's there jumping. He says, listen, the cameras can turn, right? So, come, sir. Come. This is Kai Lashley right here. You have to look into this camera. Kai, where are you leaning over the camera? Come. You can step on the carpet. Okay, so this Kai, this is our Kai, what do you do?
Sound engineer.
You're a sound. Sorry, he's a sound engineer. And it was yourself. It was Alva.
Right.
Fabian Bispham was here. He's an elder at the church.
Right.
And Linda. I'm sorry, Linda Griffith. I was like Griffith. Kurt Griffith is out there. Kurt, put the rock down. I'm sorry. I've known Linda for years. Amen. God bless her. She's one of my spiritual daughters. Wonderful woman. I'm proud of her. So how was it in the background, setting up everything and working feverishly to get everything sorted?
I mean, it was rough.
We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was rough at first, but we getting into it. Man, things are coming together real smooth.
Right.
So it's getting easier. It's going.
It's getting easier. Next time is going to be rough. Next season is going to be rougher. Okay, good. So you can. I want you to call my wife and Dawn. They're back there.
Okay.
They're the makeup people. So I want you to call them because we want to see. Everyone needs to see my wife.
No,
so you go off the stage. Off the stage.
Makeup,
You didn't do what? You didn't get makeup?
I didn't get makeup.
Go do some cream or something. So I wanna. Yes, good. So my wife is going to be coming on, and her assistant Dawn Allen. They're doing a wonderful job. They do the makeup, stuff like that. So that's what has me looking all even. I look even. Okay, so I look even right here. And they make up all the artists. And who's not here? Ajane Warrell, she's not here. She's at NIFCA this evening. She was a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago. She's an amazing dancer. I really admire her because she's really pursued her passion. Amazing young lady. Doing fantastic things in the world of dance and creativity, etc. So she's not here, but honoring her as well. And we have Linda. Linda, come on over while everyone come. No, Linda, the cameras. Linda, you're fine. Linda doesn't want to come on camera because I wish I had. You'll get on the show one of these days. Linda says she's not appropriately dressed, but it was Linda and there was Malik, and Malik is not here. Malik celebrated a birthday yesterday. He celebrated a birthday Monday. This is his mother that is saying whoop whoop, and okay, whoop whoop. Come Caroline, let's balance this whoop whoop. Come over here. Come. We don't want Dawn standing next to me. Yeah, so this is my wife here. Right? She's kind of shy sometimes. Except when when I upset her. So I have to put a camera in the car. Then she becomes a different. She's not shy when I upset her. I bring the best out of her. I love you. You love me back. She's not following the script. When I said I love you, she was supposed to say I love you back. So right? Okay, you're right. Okay, now you're following the script. Good. So this is Dawn, her assistant, and she does a wonderful job. And that's Malik's mother. Okay, we call him what?
Large fries.
Oh, we can say that. Yes. Okay, his mother said that we call him large fries. Malik, that was not my doing. That was so guys.
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. Okay, my goodness. So bless you, and then okay, good. So then we have DeMarc Corbin. He's also in there on the cameras, and Karen Rock was here, and and who? And Jonathan Waterman, and then Myron just sets up. Myron, where are you? I know that I'm running out of time, so I'm going to ask the others to just give me 2 minutes. 2 more minutes. Can you do that, production person? Thank you. So, Myron, where are you? Myron Beresford, married to Katrina Beresford. Huh? Myron, listen. Myron is here in short pants. Myron, listen. You're fine. Myron is here in short pants. Come. Because he's been working hard. Right? You work hard for your money. So hard for your money. Yeah. I'm sorry. Right. So, amen. I feel like a clown tonight. It's probably something I ate. You know, I asked my wife to just make me some tea. And I don't know if something is in it. So this is Myron, one of my spiritual sons, one of the sons of thunder. And he just sets all this up. And in conjunction with Carol Deacon Fire, amen. Right, who smokes the stage. I don't know what that means yet. we have the whole stage and he smokes the stage. Sounds like something a woman wears. You know, where's the smock? So thank you, Myron, for setting all this up. Thank you. What you want to do when you go home tonight is tell Katrina, just watch the video of your legs, and I'm telling you, something will happen tonight. So then we have our back crew, and if you can call the guys out, Carol and Junior and Rochelle, they're back there. Call them out, and we're just going to introduce them, and then I am really taking advantage of my production manager tonight. So Rochelle, come on out and lead your crew out. Whoever's in there. She's given me 1 minute in a stern voice. She said, "You have 1 minute." I heard that tone. I saw that tone, Rochelle. They're coming. Rochelle, I saw your tone. Come. So, former Keeping Up with the Joneses, start. Yes, we come. If you can come, keep coming. So this is Rochelle. Rochelle, thank you for keeping me on track. And that mic is looking menacing. That's not the mic to hit me with, is it? No. Okay, good. So come around. Come. Come. So this is Junior. Now why did I know that something like that was gonna happen? So this is Junior Burgess, himself and Carol Cadogan. They do all the technical stuff and make sure that the computers are working right and the cameras are working right. Thanks, guys. And Shay Lashley, that's the brother of Kyle Lashley, and Carla Eversley, and then there's Alison Applewhite has been here as well, and a lot of people. But we also want to thank Junior, just keep me on track here, the guys who contributed like Shane Holford. Yeah, Revelino Simmons. I went to school with Revelino. No, Rochelle, you're blocking me. I'm talking to my guest. Can you come over here, please? Yes. You want to go back so that you can keep me on. Okay, bye, Rochelle.
Samuel is
Samuel. What's Samuel's last name? Mason. Samuel Mason. So it was Samuel Mason, Revelino Simmons, Shane Holford, and
Mark Sargent.
And Mark Sargent. These wonderful people who have come in. God bless you guys. You made it happen. Until this moment, give us a lot of ideas, etc. These guys are amazing. They just came in, they helped, and Revelino also brought one of his assistants. I don't remember his name offhand, but these guys, loaned this equipment, did a lot of things to help us. God bless you. Okay, guys, off the set. How you doing? What's up? So, so all these people have helped us. I don't think that I missed anybody. I don't think so. Well, if I have, I think I got everybody. I just think I got everybody. Oh, and all those who come afterwards and they pick down, thank you. Shane Brewster, Myron, what's the drummer's name again? Dan, yes. All the guys who come, Dan and Shane, and everybody that comes and helps to make all of this work. God bless you. So I'm going to go back into quiet mode now. The tea is wearing off. So we're going to go to a commercial break. And then after that, we are coming right back with our guest, Sandra Husbands, former senator, consultant manager, a politician. And we're going to be talking to her about her journey in life and where she's at now, and a lot of other things that we will talk about, the economy, Barbados, the future, etc., etc. So stay tuned. We will be right back with the Rosehill Show's finale. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Chantal Brewster, and I have just a few persons here with me who were recently featured on the Rosehill Show. And I have Kailashi Kai, come on in. How are you doing,
I
Kai?
am doing great. How are you?
I am great. And what do you think about the Rosehill show?
I think the show was actually really, really great when it was on it. I think it's serving its purpose of, giving those persons that don't have a voice,
Yes.
a voice, right?
Yes.
Being on that show, it was great.
And how was your experience then? Other than great.
It was exciting, right? It was exciting. Just being in that environment, especially as an entrepreneur, in an interview, it brings things, to life. It was real. I love that for sure, right? And I think it's going to really impact network individuals as well.
And there you have Kai Lashu, one of our featured guests on the Rosehill show. And Kai, if you could describe the show in one word, what would it be?
One word. I would say impactful.
Nice. Impactful.
Rosehill show, and we have Sandra. Sandra, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
I'm
You look
doing
good.
great.
You look ready to lead. Amen. So, I was reading through your bio, and you would not believe what popped out at me. And I have to ask you this first and foremost before we get started. You are playing the steel pan. You don't cease to amaze me. You are playing. We're gonna talk today. You're playing. What led?
Love it.
Look, and you said that here. You're playing. What led to that?
Well, I have always had a desire to be able to play an instrument,
Right.
but never was able to settle on any particular instrument.
Okay.
And I happen to love steel pan music. So when NCF was actually having some classes, I used to live in West Terrace at the time.
Right.
So I went to the class, and the punishment for being late is that when you got there, you had to play the instrument nobody wanted to play. Nobody wanted to play the bass drums at the back. So I used to play those, and I enjoyed it because it is a nicer rhythm. You don't have to work as hard as the first pans. So I have time to enjoy the pan while I'm playing pan. And I enjoyed that tremendously.
Mike,
Really did.
of all the things in your bio, I did
That
not.
jumped out.
I'm saying I did not
Okay.
expect to come across playing the steel pan.
Yes.
You traveled extensively. You're experimenting. She loves experimenting in the kitchen. Okay. I'm not going to ask you how good a cook you are on a scale of. I'm going to
Please
ask you
don't.
how good a cook you are
Please
on the
don't.
scale. I should not ask this, but I'm going to ask how good a cook you are on a scale of 1 to 10 because your husband looks very healthy, and I see a smile on his face, and I know that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and so on a scale of 1 to 10, my friend, how good a cook are you?
Well, I'm a sometime-ish cook. Sometimes it is an 8, sometimes it's a 10, but sometimes I can hit a 3. So you have to take your luck.
So
when you come to my kitchen.
here's what's going to happen now. You're going to hear that again. Because every now and then I tell the people in church that I am a second-hand cook. And what a second-hand cook is that on Sunday my wife cooks, and on Monday I heat it up.
Ah,
Yes.
you got the recipe.
I'm saying it works every time, and it's just I say it's delectable. I mean the microwave is an amazing thing. It adds such flavor on Monday food, and I say I cook this food because I went through the process. I took it from where it was. I see my wife do the same thing. She takes it from where it is and she puts it in the pot, and
But
it works.
The flavors have settled in.
Oh my! I just
Flavors have
the Lord is
settled
speaking
in.
through you. Yes.
There you go.
Yes, and then you like a lot of reading. What are some of your favorite books?
Well, I've always enjoyed like historical novels.
Okay.
I've also enjoyed history books. But one that I read that really was very outstanding for me was *Sapiens*. It was absolutely fabulous because it took you on a journey of man from early time and how we developed the complexity of our societies and economies and the changes it made to the way in which man lived. It is the most fascinating book. It's about 400 pages, but believe me, once you start to read it, you cannot put it down. Absolutely wonderful.
You enjoy walking as well.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
that's-
Especially out in the open air. While I have a treadmill, it's not as fun as going out 5 o'clock in the morning.
You know, there's an amazing thing about Barbados Breeze at 5 o'clock in the morning
Yes.
before the cars start going.
And when the sun is rising, but more importantly, there's so many other road warriors on the road, people trying to keep fit and so on. So
Okay.
I walk through.
Oh, you said okay. Oh, you were referring to the walkers. I
The
thought you were
walkers,
referring
yeah.
to the ZRs.
No,
You
no.
said road warriors. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, and you enjoy swimming as well.
I do.
Are you a good swimmer? Better
Yes.
than the cook.
Yes, I
Yes.
would say that. I
Okay,
would say that.
I will believe you on that. And I'm playing board games. What's your favorite board game?
Pictionary,
Oh, my-
Scrabble.
yeah,
But I love Pictionary
yeah.
in particular. And I'm always looking for Pictionary players to play with. Yes.
Do you find a whole lot of them?
No, funny enough, and I don't know why, but I think is that a lot of people don't know the game. But my sisters and I, we enjoy it. So every time they come, we have a family evening, and we just play Pictionary a whole evening.
How many sisters do you have?
I have Deidre, I have Jan, and I have Mona.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any brothers?
I have 3 brothers, Trevor, I have Tyrone, and I have Edwin.
Wow. Seems to be a close family, pretty close family.
Yes.
Especially Pictionary.
Especially with Pictionary.
Who wins most? Do you win a lot or do you?
I win.
You win.
I win.
This is why no one wants to play with
That's
you.
why. There you go.
I'm saying, you know, you need
Gotta
to
lose a little.
you gotta lose it.
Gotta
But you
lose
know,
a
in this day and age, we can't be losing anything.
Not at all.
No,
Especially not this game.
and
that's
not
coming
especially
up.
not. Well,
There you
you,
go.
you have done extensive study.
Yes.
Extensive study. You hold a degree in sociology and law. Where did you study?
Cave Hill.
Cave Hill.
Yes.
Well, you know, Eugene Barreto, she just lamented at the possibility, future possibility. And whenever I talk about her, I smile because she taught me gender studies. She's she's an amazing. She's very down to
She
earth.
is.
And I was glad when she was elevated to principal. And I think that she brings I don't want to say breath of fresh air because, you know, just a breath of fresh air. It is innovation and a unique perspective to education, particularly the education of women. And I really was glad, and I could talk because I really admire her and her advancement. But you know, she was talking about the possibility that the future of education in Barbados would not be affordable to as many people as they would like. And I want to take you up on that. You know, the government of Barbados owes the university, it's said, about $200 million. How do you see the importance of tertiary education for the advancement of a society like Barbados?
Barbados has a very large middle class. Close to 40,000 students have passed through UE over the years.
Right.
And what that has done, that has given them the capacity to be able to earn at a middle class level. And therefore that has facilitated the growth of the middle class.
Right.
Now the middle class is critical to the economy. Why? Because they're more numerous than the wealthy.
Okay.
And therefore they're going to buy more cars in their group than the rich will. They're going to build more homes. They're going to consume more consumer goods, clothing, services like personal services, landscaping, etc. So a large middle class is
You forgot they're
vital
going to
for your
pay more
working
than
class.
95% tax. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they do.
Continue. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So when you have a large middle class,
Right.
it leads to a thriving working class.
Okay.
And therefore entrepreneurship is able to spring up among the working class so that they too begin to reach the middle class. So a strong middle class is a catalyst for economic growth.
This really was one of the challenges that Jamaica had several years ago, the erosion of their middle class.
Correct.
Okay.
So when you eliminate access to university education, you begin to shut one of the primary doors to being able to earn a middle class salary. And if you do not understand that, then as a government, you will not make the right choices. You will see university education as a luxury that we can no longer afford. Whereas if you see education as an investment, it makes a difference. What does that mean? It means that if you currently have, like if you 3 years ago you had 8,000 Barbadian students who took up tertiary education, and now you're down to 3,000 Barbadian students. What it means is that in the next few years, your middle class will not be growing, it will actually be shrinking. Once that shrinks, the spend in the overall economy will be less, because generally speaking, people who have degrees earn more than those who don't.
Right.
Not saying there aren't exceptions, there are exceptions, but it's not the rule. So it means overall consumption in the economy over the next 15 years will actually decrease. So you're actually laying out an economic problem for yourself. The second thing that occurs because of not having access to tertiary education is the fact that it means if you have a lower set of skills, then your investors are limited as to what types of businesses they can bring. If you have the higher level skills, you will attract investment that produces higher level jobs. So that is another downside that will occur if your people cannot get tertiary education. And then the third thing is you will shut down the pipeline of the movement from working class to middle class by not giving people that access. So it was an extremely backward move. The thing that they were struggling with was a $30 million a year problem. I do not see how in a 3.3 billion economy you cannot prioritize access to tertiary education so that everybody who needs to go and wants to go can go. You can eliminate the wastage, but you must not shut the door. And that is what is happening. You're
I've
gradually
heard
shutting
you
the door.
say, and I want you to elaborate on this a bit, that, maybe the next generation can pay for tertiary education, but not
Yes.
this one. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Because this particular generation of middle class people, their children, when they grow into adulthood,
Right.
they are going to come into property because their parents have already paid off the mortgage on the large
Yes.
house. They'll probably have access to their grandmother's property because their parents had smaller family units, so the property doesn't have to be divided across 7 and 8 children, probably 2 or 3. And then those parents would also have had insurance policies, and some of them might even have other investments. So that child is actually going to come into adulthood with a solid inheritance.
That's correct.
They're also going to come in with their tertiary education because they'll expect to have it.
Right.
This means that when they have their children now, they will have sufficient resources to be able to afford to pay part of their university education.
Right.
But if you start it now, it is going to be difficult because too many people are not in a position, nor have they planned for the fact that they have to pay for tertiary education. And just one other point that needs to be understood. Every country operates by some sort of social contract where we agree what are the things individuals will pay for, what are the things the collective will pay for. In America, they agree that government will give minimum services for minimum taxes, and therefore to allow the citizen to carry more responsibility, their salaries are higher
Right.
to allow them to do that. And once you keep that equation balanced, it will work for them. In Europe and in Barbados, we have an opposite contract. Our contract says we are prepared to pay high taxes because we want the delivery of a high level of service. Therefore, the compensation is that we will take low wages because the high services will compensate for the low wages.
Right.
What is happening is that the government has steered its finances into a position where they cannot honor their part of the contract, which is the provision of the high services. But they're still taking high taxes and they are increasing those taxes on the population without a change in wages. Once you do that, you're going to create poverty across the nation. So people who were well off and doing well will now be under financial strain and can find themselves pauperized by this taxation policy. And that's why it's so wrong.
That's why I like talking to you. You have a wealth of knowledge. During your journey to educate yourself, you did a master's in international trade policy.
Yes.
Why did you take that particular?
International trade, I felt, would have prepared me to being able to participate in shaping strategy for the nation and being able to craft a path for us to develop and advance. Business now could not just stay focused on how am I going to sell to my domestic market, because we're only 260,000 people or 280,000 people, you have to identify a wider market space in which to sell your goods and services so your businesses can grow. If you do not find more market space, what happens, as does happen in Barbados, you simply raise the prices on the existing market to increase your profits without giving people greater value, without giving them better services for the money that you're charging. So I end up paying more money for the same glass. There is nothing better about it, there's nothing improved about it. And this is unfair because you then diminish the satisfaction of the individual because his resources are not buying more for him. He's simply paying more for the same set of resources. So if you are able to find places where people can sell goods and services, or companies can grow without pauperizing the population to get it done.
Right. You've traveled extensively.
Yes.
Your journey to learn it is continuing. And one of your travels ended you up in Singapore.
Yes.
Doing some training in advanced leadership,
Leadership.
where you were the valedictorian.
Yes.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
amazing. Singapore is one of the reasons I'm asking about this is that, Lee Kuan Yew and El Barra were in class together. And they have, Singapore's not a whole lot bigger than Barbados, but it has just over 2 million people. Has a very, very, advanced financial system, very, very wealthy people, etc. I think when I last checked, Singapore has the most millionaires per capita in the world. It's an amazing country. How was it there, and how was it standing in front of your class, being a valedictorian? Why did you take? I know there's a lot of questions, but I want to really draw as much of you as possible. And why did you take that course of study?
Well, it was an amazing opportunity because I was able to study with a number of people from across the world where we were taking through courses in leadership. But it also provided me with an opportunity to eyeball a country that is so admired.
Yes.
And therefore I was able to see how they organize things, how they do things. And it is one of the most orderly societies you could ever meet. I'll never forget, I was standing waiting for the train to come, and I opened my handbag and a piece of paper blew out of it and blew down the road. Let me tell you, I was behind that piece of paper in a hurry because it's a $500 fine forthwith for
Yes.
littering, because they take their country seriously. And what I learned about Singapore is a major logistics hub. They made a lot of their money out of logistics. And the truth is, Barbados is really in a position also to be a logistics hub because of the Panama Canal. I think they're thinking of building the Nicaraguan Canal. And that Panama Canal connects the production zones of the world with the consumer zones of the world, and Barbados is uniquely positioned, as are the other Caribbean islands, as close to that hub as you can get. So I believe that this is a road that we can explore as a possible area for growth, because Singapore was able to do that and make a great deal of money and a high quality of life for its citizens. And I think that something like that really agrees with our profile and is something that can be explored.
President of the Small Business Association, the only president to be elected for 3 terms. How was and you did some amazing work there. How was that?
That was a challenge because it was pretty male dominated. They weren't accustomed to a female president, and so it took a lot of finessing to be able to get in there and take up the presidency and take it somewhere. But one of the most important things when you're taking up leadership is to have a vision. And more importantly, what is your strategy for getting them there? And once you can articulate that vision and articulate the strategy in a way that people can buy into it, they can see it will happen, then they're willing to follow you, because people will only allow you to lead them if they feel you can make them successful. So our strategy was very straightforward. We had no money. We had no members. And how were we going to get off the ground? So what I did I went and started building the membership. Started getting a few people to come in. Then I approached a few strategic partners and said, look, I'm going to build this membership up to about 500. I want discounts and I want to have a relationship with you that we can offer our members benefits. So we got an insurance program done, a health insurance program. We were able to get a large discount at Nation newspaper. As a matter of fact, it was so big that your membership fee would have been paid off for the savings in 8 months of what you would have gotten from the Nation. So that was a great big puller. When we started now to build the numbers, the banking institutions now wanted to get attached to us. So now they wanted to become strategic partners. So then we were able to build more services for members. And so we were able to grow our membership from there, and that caught government's attention. So then government started giving us more money. When we first started, when I took up the presidency, it was $175,000 a year we got to run the association. By the time I left, we had $300,000 a year for actually running the secretariat and 1.something million to do small business development and investment and that type of thing on an annual basis. So we were able to do some good work, and I enjoyed the challenge, and the team around me was phenomenal.
Wow, that's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
You are a builder.
I am a builder.
You are a builder.
I am a builder.
Innovative, well-trained, you are a builder. But we will be right back to talk some more. This time we're going to be diving into politics and talking a bit about the country, et cetera, et cetera. But I just want to get the people to know, a chance to know you, know who Sandra Husbands is behind the base steel pan.
There you go.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Good afternoon, my name is Chantal Brewster, and I have just a few persons who were recently featured on the Rosehill show here with me today. First is Joycelyn Wong. Joycelyn, how are you today?
I am fine, thank you, and yourself?
I am great. And what do you think about this Rosehill show?
Well, I think the Rosehill show is a unique tool for evangelism. That's how I see the Rosehill show. In addition to being able to talk about your businesses, give your testimony, I do believe it's a unique tool of evangelism.
Nice. And how was your experience on the show?
I had a great experience. I was able to speak about some of the services that I offer.
So,
And yes, some of them, because there are more. So to speak about more would have taken up the whole show. So, but I did have a good experience. I was able to, like I said, I was able to speak about some of these services, and that was a good opportunity to do so.
nice. So this is Joycelyn Wong, and she was one of our featured guests on the Rosehill show. And Joycelyn, if you could describe the show in one word, what would it be?
Unconventional.
Unconventional. Good afternoon, my name is Chantal Brewster, and I have just a few persons here with me who have recently been featured on the Rosehill show. Antonio, step on in. I have here Antonio Williams. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I am great. And what do you think about the Rosehill show?
I think the Rosehill show is a very good avenue for people to display their businesses. For example, if you are a hairdresser, it's a good avenue to have a voice and show people what you can do.
Yes, yes. And how was your experience on the show?
I had a great experience where I was able to display my entrepreneurship skills
Nice.
via my stepping stones, lawn maintenance, and giving people a voice on how to take care and maintain their property.
Nice. And there we have Antonia Williams, one of our featured guests on the Rosehill show. And Antonia, if you could describe the show in one word, what would it be?
Now, one word is limited in, but I would say that the show is explosive.
Explosive.
Back talking to Sandra Husbands, very interesting lady running for politics, and I just want to jump right into this. You first female president of the SBA, dealt with a lot of men. That was not easy, clearly, as you've said. But then you have gone into a male-dominated area in Barbados politics. What caused you to become a politician?
Well, first of all, I've always had a passion for people being able to live their best life.
Okay.
And I recognize that a number of things have to occur for that to happen. One, that person has to be focused on their development. That person has to have opportunities to learn. But then I realized that you have to have a platform on which to live this life.
Right.
The platform on which all of us operate is the economic and social platform. But how that functions is determined by the politics. The politics, through its policies, through the role of regulation and facilitation, determines how much you can play and how much you can extract from the economic and social platform. And because my basic strength is strategy, is here's a problem, here's where we would like to go, what's the best way to get there? I love those things. And therefore, being able to see what it is we needed to do differently on the economic and social platform is what intrigued me about being engaged in politics. Because politics, therefore, needs to have people of goodwill, it has to have people of integrity, and it has to have people of competence. Those three things matter very much because so much is at stake on the economic and social platform. People's lives and the value of their life matters. And for them to reach the end of their life without achieving all that is important to them makes it a great responsibility to be a politician. And that is why I entered politics.
How important is integrity in the whole process?
Critical. It is like your own profession. If there isn't integrity in how you do your pharmaceutical activities, or a person who manufactures the pharmaceuticals, if they're not acting with integrity towards the formula and towards the hygiene of it, you compromise people's lives. I think what is unfortunate is that we tend to teach integrity as something a passport to get to heaven. It's not a passport for heaven, it's for making life on earth possible and certain. It can only be certain if you act with integrity towards your systems. So this is why it is so important, and we have to start and teach integrity as an integral part of being able to live your best life. It is not a passport for heaven, it's a passport for living
People speak
life.
about a glass ceiling. How was it for you entering into the political sphere as a woman, and is it more difficult, do you think, as a woman to be in
It
politics?
is. Yes, it is. Because the expectations of people are different. For example, if you're ambitious as a woman, they say you're power hungry. If a man is ambitious, that's good. Oh, he's a leader, and it's accepted. Then how people treat you is different. As a female, if you're leading a set of males, they constantly have to question, and why did she get it? Did she get it because we were incompetent as males and therefore she was the next best choice, rather than you are the better choice out of all because you're better, not because you're female? That can unconsciously go through men's minds in relation to why a woman is a leader. So sometimes it may cause the males around you to challenge you, to prod you, and sometimes they may try to put you in your place, and you have to be sensitive to when they're doing that, where, for example, they will assume at a meeting that you're the person who should take notes. And why is that? They may assume that if we're divvying up jobs and food is a part of it, they don't get to do food. They assume that you should do food, not bearing in mind that I might only be a 3 sometimes and an 8 sometimes.
You are on that point. You are a management consultant. You have experience spanning 6 fields of endeavors: broadcasting, sales, market research, tourism, public relations, and total quality management. You have, you're very, very educated. And I want to read this because I want to make a point. A degree in sociology and law, master's in international trade policy, training in advanced leadership in Singapore. We talked about that. Facilitation training in the USA, training of trainers, business process management, technology of participation for adult learners, techniques for enhancing adult learning, total quality management, public relations, former senator. I mean, you're well trained. Why then do you think that a man would expect you to go into a typical corner? This is by no means a lightweighted person. Why do you think a man would want you to assume the role of what he imagines to be a typical female?
Well, some males have really come a long way where they are able to see women as being able to make a contribution in any sphere, and therefore they don't have a problem with it.
Right.
But some males who are still lagging behind in terms of their thinking might sometimes feel, why do you need to do all that? Because they may want to judge you on womanly behavior. And for them, womanly behavior might be how you keep your home, how attractively you dress, how good you are cooking, how good are you a mother, how good are you at raising children. And people use those criteria to judge your fitness as a woman, rather than the fact that you have God-given talents that need to be fully developed and therefore need to be facilitated on the platform. So if you look, for example, at what is happening to women, women are able to participate on the economic and social platform, but at an enormous cost, because no adequate provision has been taken for the society to reassess how are those tasks that she used to do, how are they going to be performed properly to allow her to engage the platform. So now she ends up still having the house, the children, still need to look good, still need to cook well, still need to make sure things are happening, while at the same time engaging the platform. And what is happening is women are being worn out and stressed out with this double whammy. And when you add the fact that in the Barbadian society, we are an aging society, and many of them now have to become responsible for aging parents and aging relatives, it puts an enormous burden on women and makes participation on the economic platform a tremendous cost to them, to their health, to their well-being, to their sense of satisfaction.
And that's unfortunate, because it robs us of an amazing resource of women.
It does.
One of the challenges I do have, I'll probably articulate this sometime in my preaching, is the concept of equality.
Yeah.
And I think that and maybe one of these days we'll engage on that. But I don't think that women should try to be equal with men, or men with women. There are some people that you are not equal with. When it comes to mathematics and figures, I'm not equal to my wife. Okay, and I accept that. I give her the leeway. When you are in school, you're not equal to your professor. Okay, there are some women, if they are more educated, you accept the fact that the person is ahead of you. It is true, women are always trying to do this catch up, and it's unfortunate because it has robbed humanity, as I said before, of an amazing resource. And one of the things that I discovered that happens in politics is that women, when people start to attack women, it becomes very, very scandalous. How do you deal with that?
If you watch what has happened in the American elections, if you look at what happened in Brazil, if you looked at what happened in Jamaica, if you look at what looks like it's going to happen with Theresa May, you will find that recently, wherever females have risen to leadership positions, there has been an enormous attack to bring her down and to pull her out. This has been unfortunate because what it does, it robs the world of a way of thinking and enjoying the type of contribution females can bring to the leadership process, to the governance process, to economic and social activity. And the part of why that program succeeds is because, unfortunately, too many women participate in the pulling down of women because they don't always feel safe with women. They unconsciously feel safe with males. So until women themselves begin to understand the value of the contribution and therefore give that support, it is going to be very, very difficult for female leaders to emerge. They will emerge at tremendous, tremendous cost.
Let's talk a bit about the political atmosphere in Barbados. There are a lot of people that are saying, I'm not going to vote. We are probably going to have an election in the next couple of months. Anywhere from now until the next 3 to 6 months, you'll probably have an election. Some people are feeling disenfranchised, disillusioned, etc., etc. How do you think? Are you seeing that as you're on the ground?
Yes.
Because you're certainly campaigning.
Yes.
You're seeing that more and more. What can we do about it?
You have some people who can't wait to vote. They can't wait. The first question they ask, especially in the middle class, when is elections? So you have people who are eager to vote, but then you have another set that are totally disillusioned because they think their trust has been violated. They feel all politicians are the same and therefore are not to be trusted, and therefore they've taken up a position that they will withdraw, not realizing that their withdrawal from the process actually will result in the political arena becoming worse.
Okay.
What the political arena is asking for is greater engagement by the citizen. And that requires citizens to be engaged, to be informed, and to hold their politicians accountable. That is how they're going to get better and good governance. The one good thing about the apathy is this. It says, I recognize that I am getting something less than the best, and I am not prepared to accept it. That's the first stage to change. What needs to happen now is a determination by citizens to decide, you know something, the only thing that's going to make this change is if I get in there and help to make the change, either by being part of the accountability structure or by participating in politics itself. And once you get that movement going, then Barbados will eventually find itself with a better quality of governance.
You mentioned you were mentioning governance. How can we change our governance structure? What are some of the things that you see that can be done that would engage our citizens better?
First of all, we have to have the confidence to recognize that we have the capacity to come up with governance structures that will work for us. We do not have to use what other people have used.
Right.
We have to have the confidence that we can examine our situation, examine the type of society we would like to create, and begin to create the institutions and systems that will help deliver that type of governance to us. So confidence is the first thing.
Okay.
The second thing is we have to be clear about what are our expectations from a new governance model. What happens is that you have a dysfunction here in Barbados where, like for example, people say, well, the government never do nothing good for me. I didn't want a house and I didn't want this and nobody never give me none. But that is their misunderstanding about how governance works. And unfortunately, because it's extremely difficult to change the mindset, some people in the political arena give up on trying to help the person understand that it doesn't work that way.
Right.
And what they do is they try to appease that person, but then find it hard to deliver, which then generates even more distrust. But one of the things that we have to do if we're going to have a good new governance model is to educate people about how governance works and how you deliver resources to the citizens. What is the role government plays, what is the role citizens will play, and that will make a tremendous difference because now the two can partner for a better Barbados, for a Barbados that works for everybody. That is what I am working for, to make sure there's a Barbados that works for everybody. And that means better politicians, but it also means better and more engaged citizens. Those two must go hand in hand.
We are 20, in 9 years, 20 downgrades later. People having less disposable income. Increasing taxes. I think it's the IDB that says now that the government is collecting approximately 95% of its revenue from taxes. And the people are crying out, increased joblessness. We are wondering by the time this group of children graduate from school, where they're going to go, what jobs are going to be available for them. Clearly, the Barbados economy needs some innovation, some ideas. Several things that are being touted don't seem to be working. What are some of your thoughts about where the Barbados economy is and what needs to change to get it where it should be?
Okay. The current state of the Barbadian economy is really gut-wrenching because it doesn't need to be there. all the other economies around us in the region have grown by 2, 3, 4% since 2011. 2017 will be the first year in which we are about to register growth. That growth can be accounted for by increased inflation, because you certainly have not had a great deal of increased economic activity to account for the growth that is being suggested is there. Now, there are two things that are critical in why we are here. If you have excessive borrowing and you are downgraded, that downgrade is going to lead to higher interest rates. There are a number of institutions that invest in government paper, like insurance and pension funds, that cannot invest in below investment grade paper. So it means that those people have to pull their money out of Barbados. So what the Barbados government is struggling with now is that they now need to find foreign exchange to pay back these people, which ordinarily they would not have to do. They would only pay the interest and have the debt rolled over another time. So this has led to the shortage in foreign exchange that would normally be used for citizens to buy their cars, to build their homes, to put goods on the shelf that we can continue to live our life. So government now is forced into a round of heavy taxation to prevent us from consuming, so the foreign exchange will be available for them to pay off the debt which they've created. This creates a major problem for us, because the higher taxation is going to slow down economic activity again.
Correct.
So when the Minister of Finance talks about, oh, the NSRL is necessary because we do not want to lay off civil servants, we are protecting jobs. What he is not saying is that what he's putting on the line instead is private sector jobs. If you don't get the losses in the public sector, you're going to get them in the private sector. And if you understand that it takes 7 to 8 private sector jobs to support a public sector job, you realize that that positioning that he has taken up will actually worsen the situation on the next round.
Okay.
So what is it you really, really need to do? You need to generate economic growth so that there's growth in private sector jobs, so that you can continue to support your public sector. That is what you need to do. But they seem to have a difficulty in understanding how the economy works, how to stop it from bleeding, and how to get it to grow again. And this is something that we want to have the opportunity to do, because with an economy like Barbados, you need to know what you're doing. You're not going to hit on growth by accident. You'll hit on it because you're competent.
Do we have particular challenges because of the size of our economy?
Yes. If you have 300,000 people and you have a land mass of 166 square miles, you cannot pursue any and everything. You don't have enough land space to do lots of agriculture or lots of manufacturing and so on. So what we have to do is to choose the set of activities that will give the very highest return for the investment in land and utilities and labor and so on. So when you look at the range of things available to us, agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, international services, professional services, etc., we have to go after high-end services. That has to be the strategy for Barbados. A high-end services strategy requires a high-end worker. A high-end worker needs an education. So if you shut down university, you shut down the access, you make it impossible to properly pursue a high-end services strategy. And therefore, you will not be able to sustain the state resources, you will not be able to sustain social services, you will not be able to give your young people the chance of a life, because they will not be able to get jobs that pay and pay well.
Everything seems to be connected. And
it is.
It doesn't always come across that way.
Yes.
I know that you are passionate about educating the citizenry of Barbados, about the connectivity of government, how it works.
Yes.
What kind of programs have you initiated to ensure that the citizens of Barbados understand this?
Right. Well, we've started the Informed Voter series, where what we seek to do, if citizens are going to participate in their governance better, they have to be informed. They have to understand their interests. If they don't understand their interests, a government will look at a public service and say, I'm going to put in an NSRL at 10% so I can pay your wages. That is the equivalent of, I owe you a salary increase. And I say to you, I'm going to take money from you
To give you back.
to give you back. Now, if citizens don't understand that that's a load of baloney, they will think, oh my goodness, well maybe I shouldn't fight against the NSRL because this is how I'm going to get a salary increase.
Okay.
All that's going to do is take you back to zero. What the government needs to do is to get the economy growing again. And once you get it growing again, you will not have to overtax the citizens. That's what you have to do.
We have a government, the DLP, who came into government in a time when there was a global downturn, and very, very challenging. There are now, maybe it was the luck of the draw, I don't know. They are now faced with Brexit. There are also, a number of global natural disasters. How has those things impacted on their ability to grow this economy? Because we are trying to attract tourists from England. They bought a lot of our real estate. How has those things impacted on their ability to grow this economy?
That has impacted on the Barbados economy the same way it's impacted on the St. Lucian economy, the Antiguan economy, Jamaican economy, the Trinidadian economy. All those other economies have faced those situations.
Okay.
And they have continued to thrive. Not that they haven't been challenged, but by using the right policies, they've been able to maintain a fairly steady course in relation to their growth. These natural disasters have now thrown them back. Barbados, by mismanaging our internal affairs, then will be unable to cope with the external pressures because you've compromised the internal strength of the economy to withstand those impacts. And that is the problem.
Can we? Successive governments have been in some way guilty of mismanaging resources. We know that for some reason. It probably is a Caribbean thing. I don't know. Is it possible that we don't have strong enough laws to prevent some of those cases of mismanagement? Greater levels of accountability. We talked about integrity before. Integrity legislation has been banged about. Should we really have laws that can protect us against some of the mismanagement policies that we see?
The laws are necessary. The laws are good because you have to have a legal tool that you can use to be able to hold people accountable.
Right.
The problem is, who will bell the cat? If the integrity doesn't lie inside of the civil servant, if it doesn't lie inside the person who controls those levers, if it does not lie inside of your judicial system, the laws are in vain. One of the things, and I will say this, a lot of people are amazed that whenever they do there is an assessment that they do on countries in terms of integrity and honestly the corruption index, and they're sometimes surprised by where Barbados is. And I remember someone saying to me many years ago, Barbados always got similar resources from international agencies as did other countries in the Caribbean. But Barbados always did better. And they said what made the difference was the civil servant. The civil servant who kept the politicians somewhat in check.
Right, okay.
And that made the difference. And that's why more of our resources then actually went to improving the country rather than slipping away into dark places. But what you will notice is that over the last few years, we've been slipping in that index. And so what has been happening, there's been a corruption that has been rising, that has reached levels that really is unparalleled in our history.
Okay.
The question is, what are we going to do about it?
Well, we'll come right back and we'll talk some more about that because, again, as I said, it's always interesting talking to you. You have a vast amount of experience in the political arena, in leadership, in business, in entrepreneurship, etc. So we'll be right back. We'll talk some more. Okay? So, see you soon. We are talking to Sandra Husbands, and management consultant, and sometimes cook.
Sometimes cook.
We'll be right back.
afternoon. My name is Sandra Husbands, and I have just a few persons who were recently featured on the Rosehill show here with me today. First is Joycelyn Wong. Joycelyn, how are you today?
I am fine, thank you. And yourself?
I am great. And what do you think about this Rosehill show?
Well, I think the Rosehill show is a unique tool for evangelism. That's how I see the Rosehill show. In addition to being able to talk about your businesses, give your testimony, I do believe it's a unique tool of evangelism.
Nice. And how was your experience on the show?
I had a great experience. I was able to speak about some of the services that I offer.
So,
And yes, some of them, because there are more. So to speak about more would have taken up the whole show. So, but I did have a good experience. I was able to, like I said, I was able to speak about some of these services, and that was a good opportunity to do so.
nice. So this is Joycelyn Wong, and she was one of our featured guests on the Rosehill show. And Joycelyn, if you could describe the show in one word, what would it be?
Unconventional.
Unconventional.
Well, we are here talking to Sandra Husbands, and very, very interesting conversation about the economy of Barbados. And just want to jump right into this. There's a video that is circulating on Facebook where the Canadian Parliament is in debate, and the opposition is drilling the government about the Barbados law that they have on their books, which allows companies in their country, which is something that's been going on forever. For a long time, really, to set up their companies in Barbados as an offshore jurisdiction and come back home and pay no taxes because of the double taxation treaty. And they have been lobbying against it. The Canadian government said we've dedicated over $1 billion to making sure that there's no criminal activity in terms of tax evasion, etc. So they're hammering at this. So obviously, that is. Has the possibility of drying up that end of our business. I think in our symposium that we had, where I was one of the chairpersons, Lynette Eastman said that over the last several years we've lost, I think, up to over $600 million as a result of these policies in Canada. Do we need to reposition the Barbados economy to deal with those exogenous shocks? That's my question to you.
Well, what we've had in the Ministry of International Business is a stagnancy in terms of how they seek to reposition the sector.
Okay.
You've not had the creative products, creative services. You've not had a huge drive in terms of the types of treaties and so on that they go after. Now you are in a fight. When someone establishes a business here and pays 2% on their profit, and the host country, the true host country, is losing 33% of that money, they're not going to sit down there and take that.
It is true.
They're not. After a while, they're going to have to think of ways of how are we going to get that money to come back home.
Because they need to generate jobs as well.
They need to generate jobs.
Yes.
Because they need that for their roads and their schools, etc. Now, the challenge is you have to walk a fine line, because the businesses themselves that come to set up here also exert a certain level of political pressure to allow them to generate more income that they can take back home and put into their businesses, as opposed to it going off into taxation. Right? So, that being the case, what was needed was for the international business sector and the government to sit down and come up with strategies. It might mean giving a little here and there. But one of the things that would have been critical is to keep your jurisdiction clean. In other words, when they come up with charges against you, you have to be able to demonstrate that you have dotted every I, you've crossed every single T. In the meantime, you're coming up with new ways in which you're trying to keep that business south. Now, what you will notice about the international business sector is this. You have those financial services jurisdictions operating in the United States. There are places where you can establish your business and get the same benefits. You've got Switzerland. You will notice that they don't seem to have a problem with those at all, while there's loads of money laundering and tax havens and all sorts of things going on there. But that is not a problem for them. What is a problem is a business that is running south, which is coming into Cayman, Bahamas, Barbados, Bermuda, etc. So this is where your CARICOM position is important. That's why you cannot let CSME go down. That in truth and in fact, we should have come together, and instead of all of us playing our own little game, we are coming together and lobbying as a group. You would have needed to be able to look at other places in the world where you could attract more of that international business, so that you could look in South America, you could look in Africa, you could look in Asia. You can find different places where you can start to pull business to help counterbalance the loss of the Canadian market or loss of the American market. These are the sorts of things that you need to do. The other problem that we have is the ease of doing business is poor in Barbados. And nothing has been done by the Ministry of International Business or Commerce in terms of improving it. St. Lucia can turn a company around in 2 days. It takes 3 weeks in Barbados. It is ridiculous, and this is why we're falling behind. So now you find yourself in a situation where you cannot attract international investment. Now you need investment. Why do you need investment? You have 300,000 people. We do not have enough savings in the banking system to finance all the businesses we need, to generate all the jobs we need to have for the 4,000 children that will come out from your school system every year. You need to be able to attract people with money who want to invest and do business here. Therefore, it should be easy to do business. You should be able to register quickly. You should be able to get town plan approvals fast. Your banking system must be able to turn around transactions very quickly. You have to have the labor force with the skills, the educated skills, the tertiary level skills to be able to fill the positions. And you have to be able to have your roads looking good, your town working well. You have to have your general and retail services that function efficiently, that makes it easy for them to do business here. That's what we need to, that's what the government needs to get up and do every day.
Education informs our mindsets.
Correct.
Is our mindset blocking us from pursuing places like Africa as
potential places?
Why do you think that is?
It's lack of information, because for a long time Africa has been portrayed as backwards. So every time you see a picture on Africa, you either see a lion jumping on some antelope or some warrior with, grass skirt around him and doing his spear, and they've never taken the time to truly educate us about what's going on in Africa. The Africa Channel is a great channel, because now you're beginning to see, wow, they're doing stuff.
There are cities in Africa that look better than New York.
Correct. And flourishing and ready to move, ready for business. But those connections have to be made. And with the use of technology, you don't now have to travel all the way over there to get business to happen. You can use technology to do it, but the linkages have to be there. So what you need then is a government initiative that looks at how are we going to generate business. Now, a government initiative cannot just rest at taking a group of people, renting a room, and bringing in the Africans and bringing in and say, okay, get some business happening here. You have to go with a plan. You have to go with what are the supporting strategies that government will put in place, what are the policies, what's the legislation you'll put in place to make this business work. And you help then to foster that marriage, that coming together. And that's how you will get
creating you just talked about the 4,000 children are going to be coming out,
yes.
and the need for people
I have
to
been
invest.
coming out every year for the past 10 years, and we've not been able to give them work.
Correct. Creating employment opportunities beyond traditional jobs. How do you see it as an option in Barbados? We have the internet that is there. There are myriads of opportunities to make money on the internet. Do you see that as a viable means of getting these school children who are so technologically savvy? It seems as though they are born with the ability to use a cell phone. Do you see that as a viable means of employing some of these people, the internet?
But here's what you would have to do. Instead of banning cell phones from school, you should have a course in the use of technology. so that our children are not using technology just for amusement, and our adults are not using it just to buy goods online. So at school, you should have courses that help children to use the internet and use technology to be able to come up with innovative ideas, for them to see that they can engage the platform and be as creative and innovative as anybody else across the world, so that they have that confidence. So that is needed in the educational system. The second thing that you need to be able to do in relation to being able to help business to develop, the e-commerce platform has to work. If you have not organized for the banking system, put something in place to make sure that the e-commerce platform can work, so that I can do a transaction online, you are wasting time. So that's why I say the Ministry of Commerce needs to get some work done in that area.
I was talking to some person just the other day about e-commerce, and it says it's not there. It's not there in the way that it should work. And I'm talking about a platform that is driving the entire. I mean, goodness,
Of
we are
course.
going towards. We are in cryptocurrency age now, and we still not getting the. Why do we lag so far behind?
It has to do, I think it is two things. One, it can be a problem of vision, of recognizing if this doesn't work, then these other things can't happen. If you don't see the linkage between having the e-commerce platform working and training your children to use technology for business and ideas and so on, then you're not going to fix this problem. But you'll keep shouting at your population, you all need to start businesses. How? The other thing that is necessary is, this was something that we had wanted to look at in the SBA, but we got stymied by some dynamics. Businesses have to be able to offer credit. So let me explain what I mean. If Cape Shepherd has a credit card system and I need a pair of shoes, yes, I could go to a store downtown and think, by God, pay cash. So if I don't have that money right now, I'm going to go to Cape Shepherd and buy my shoes. So those small businesses keep losing out because they cannot offer credit. They cannot carry the credit if they're small. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to get together with a credit union to be able to offer a credit union charge card, where the person would be pre-qualified to have up to $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 worth of credit. And you would put the systems into the small businesses. So small businesses now can really compete and get part of that business, but we've not been able to get that done. If you do that, the e-commerce platform and the credit program, then your small businesses will thrive and will sell goods and services not just to 260,000 people, but they'll be able to sell right across the region. And this is where your logistics comes in now, because now your logistics service providers will be able now to ship the product to the customer. That's how it all fits.
We don't have a lot of time, and we can talk the whole lot. We don't have a lot of time. But why do we need a strong Barbados in the region?
Barbados is a leader.
Okay.
Don't ask me to explain why it is so, but Barbados has always been a leader in relation to governance, in relation to education, in relation to health care. It has produced a number of phenomenal people, and we've always shipped people abroad. Wherever you go in the region, you'll find Barbadians taking up senior positions, whether it's the head of the police or the civil service or what have you. And Barbados, more than any other country, benefits from CARICOM, because 55% of our exports actually go to CARICOM. We get more of CARICOM than anybody else. And therefore, it is in our interest to work together with the other islands to make sure their economies work and are viable, because if their economies are viable, they're going to buy more from us.
Right.
So you have to see that we have a common destiny, but unfortunately, we've allowed CSME to lag, and at a time when we needed it most, it was not here to help us through that crisis, because it would have made a difference.
Is there a uniqueness about the Barbados personality?
Actually, there is a unconscious brilliance in the Caribbean person, but especially in the Barbadian, that it's difficult to put your finger on it, but it needs developing, it needs polishing, and it needs directing towards our improvement.
You said we're just my last question. I want to end with this. You spoke about the difficulty of women advancing in, a world that seems to be dominated by men, and we would have talked about your journey through your education. And I've met your husband, Wayne, wonderful man, strong man. I don't know what he's intimidated by. He's a very strong person, very wise person. You can see it on him. How has it been for him? Allowing you to participate in politics and seeing you on this journey. How has it been for him?
We are partners. My journey into politics is his journey into politics. Politics is not my pathway, and he has a different one. This is a journey that we are taking together, and he is deeply involved and deeply interested. My success for him is success. And he is like a hawk, like an eagle up above, surveying Sandra, so and so and so and so. Watch out here, try here, and constantly positioning me for success. And that is what I appreciate about him very much. And I really embrace his spirit. It's like if you have Rihanna and you're Rihanna's manager, your job is to groom the talent, that the talent can succeed. That is what he does. And that's what he does really well. Because he's very pastoral in his behavior, very shepherding in his behavior. And I appreciate it very much. And we have enjoyed this journey together. We've enjoyed every moment. And I'm looking forward to many more years.
But I wish you all the best in the upcoming election. I know you're working hard in your constituency. And Barbados is blessed to have both you and your husband participate in the political process. Well, that brings to end tonight our finale. We've had a long journey, several weeks with a great team and great guests, and I think there's no better way to end this than chatting with Sandra Husbands, who has an immense, a vast amount of knowledge about the political process, about the economy of Barbados. We have not even touched the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, as to what she could say. We would need 2 other programs. But thanks for joining us in the Rosehill Show. Next time we are here, next season is going to be a revamp, studio revamp, effort. Everything is going to change, and we're going to be talking to you more about independence, about the Christmas season that we will be in. So much more we will be talking about as we go ahead in our next season, which begins in, that's going to be November the 15th. Yes, November the 15th is when we begin our next season. So we are taking a break, but we are expecting you to join us and invite everybody in the world to come and see the Rosehill Show. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. Have a great evening.